I worked in sales and marketing for 12 years and I went back to university when I was 29. So it was a complete change. It's by far the best decision I've ever made in my life. You have to be 110% on your toes. You can never switch off for 1 second. You get so much back from this job. It's not like any other job. It's much more rewarding than sales and marketing, quite different.
I wanted to work with young people. I loved the classroom, I loved the school setting. I enjoyed teaching when I did teach. Because you've got to stand up in front of a classroom and you have to be able to respond to whatever happens and deal with the questions that arise, is I think a great grounding for a politician. You learn a lot about people and kids and their parents, but you also learn to handle things on your feet.
I worked on the cruise lines for 8 months, 9 months, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it, travelling around the world. I worked up to be the head therapist and I looked after a spa of 20. And that's when I decided that I loved teaching and training the girls and seeing them develop. And then from there I contacted Stirling Uni and asked if I could come and do their teaching qualification.
Before I decided to become a teacher and study at Stirling, I spent about 10 years in the design industry. So I was in charge of a team of creative designers, and I just seemed to have an aptitude for working in that kind of environment where I was not necessarily managing, but being able to understand the different issues that designers have. You know, it's not so much what you're teaching, but it's how you teach it.
I'm in third year and I'm doing education with history and RE as my teaching subjects. I really like it because it actually talks about the morals and challenging beliefs and ideas and helping people become more like responsible citizens, as a curriculum of excellence would say. My interest in education comes very much from my parents. They've always told me as much as they can that education is very, very important. For the first 12 years of my life, I was a traveller on the road, a new age traveller, and we never got the chance to go to school or anything. But when I got to the age of going to high school, my parents settled down so that I'd have that chance. I definitely think that it's one of the most important things that you can do, teaching.
My own education relied on second chances, and most of what I do is still related to second chance education, as it used to be called. And I still believe that we give too much emphasis to schooling and not enough to giving people opportunities at those points in their life when it's appropriate for them.
I'm a teacher by profession. I do research, and my passion is in the development of primary education. For me, it is the presenter that makes the presentation useful or worthwhile or beneficial more than anything else.
Donald McIntyre. He always challenged the notion of some innate general ability in people.
Reading Foucault's work, it just opened up new ways of thinking about issues.
Gardner and his theory of multiple intelligences.
Paulo Freire, he believed that to be a good educator, you needed to realize that you are a learner.
When I was First Minister, people in my office, when I was having a bad week, would make sure I went to school on a Friday, because it always cheered me up and inspired me for the following week.
I know people say that the younger generation are maybe not the best, but I would disagree. I would say the majority of the younger generation are fantastic. I think the challenges are different, but I wouldn't say that they're more widespread.
I'm not sure who it's by, but my favourite quote I found in a planner from my high school. As the island of knowledge grows, so too do the shores of ignorance. And that's just talking about the more you learn, the more you know that you don't know.
When we were fighting to save the university back in 1981, the slogan we rallied around was, if you think education's expensive, try England's.
Kind of misquoting Churchill a wee bit, history teaching is not all blood, sweat and tears.
I would say my favourite quote is standing on the shoulder of giants. I think it means that in all our research and everything we do in life, really, we're just improving on what people before us have already told us, what knowledge they've already given us.
The great feminist Gloria Steinem, she said that the real challenge for contemporary men and women is not so much to learn, but to be able to unlearn.
It's ideas which are important, and it's ideas which I think we are and should be about.